There's a really famous saying that the grass is greener on the other side, but in relationships, that's not always true. And if we spend all our time looking at other relationships, guess what? Our energy and sometimes our love, it can go with it rather than where it really should be or where the best relationship might have been. Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Kopaz. I am a clinical psychologist, and we are talking about relationship improvement and enrichment. And this week, I really want you to focus on the idea of how to move away from looking at others, whether it be other people's relationships and comparing it to your own, or how to get away from that idea in your head that might be there secretly that maybe all your problems would go away with just another relationship, or with somebody else these issues wouldn't be here, or I'd have an even better, more spicy relationship. It's so tempting to let our minds go into that myth. But I think Wolfgang Puck really said it the best. He said, people think that the grass is always greener over there. The grass is greener where you water it. Now, Wolfgang Puck did have 3 marriages, so maybe he was watering his career more than his first 2 marriages, but he might have learned a few things through his trials and tribulations. And I really think that that idea of watering your own grass is so important. I really want you to think about how you can do that. I think that idea of looking and wondering, is there someone else still out there that's better for me? It's so easy to do in this day and age when there's so much technology and so many ways to get pulled into voyeurism of others' relationships or voyeurism of other people that we used to know or think we could know. And we sometimes lose sight of where all that energy is going instead of going into our own relationship. I really want you to think about in your own relationship and talk about with your significant other this week, how can you start making some intentional small habits to really water your own grass? Just using that metaphor, fertilizing and putting all that intention into your own relationship to foster better connection. And with that, you'll see growth, you'll see the spice coming back. It's amazing what can happen when we really put all that time and attention into our own relationship and move our eyes away from other people. And it can be hard to admit that sometimes we do that, right? And I'm not saying you can't look at, a celebrity on TV and enjoy their bikini or their shirt being taken off or whatever. But when it comes to this idea of really fantasizing about maybe that relationship with a person, coworker at work, or this person I see online, an old friend or something, could be better than what I have, we have to really be careful. It can really destroy great relationships that could be the one that is the greenest grass for you. So if we're in a healthy, safe relationship, we really want to be putting our energy and intention into the relationship we have. Now, some ideas for how to do that, if you're not sure, are small habits. And habits, keep in mind, they can take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to create. They take a lot of intention. So as you're starting to put in these habits with your significant other, you might have to put a reminder in your phone or a pop-up in your calendar or sticky notes or whatever you like to use, depending on how old school you are, right? But remind yourself to do these things. And if you see your partner reminding themselves, that counts, okay? Do not discount it. If it does count, even if they have to use a reminder, even if they have to use a sticky note, even if they have to have it in their calendar, it still counts. I think sometimes we tell ourselves that if our partner really loved us, they'd remember on their own, or they'd have a desire to reach out to us throughout the day on their own, or they'd think of me throughout the day on their own. But let's be honest, habits are hard to break. And if the habit of being a workaholic or putting all your energy into kids or something else in your life is there, then it's going to take a little while to break that habit with new habits. Some ideas for new habits that can really foster connection are the little things. They don't have to be giant, like date nights or things like that we've been talking about at the beginning of the 6-week relationship challenge. But it could be walking your spouse to the door whenever they leave in the morning for work, or it could be how you greet them in the morning when you first wake up with something positive, or making them coffee, or being appreciative if they've been doing something as a habit already and we forget to say thank you. It could be holding hands at night when you are watching a show, and maybe that's not your habit, but having intention about it. Maybe it's sharing one positive thing and one negative thing, something emotional you felt throughout the day when you first see each other after work or over dinner. Sometimes right after work can be a great time to reconnect with a hug and some touch and some connection about how the day went. For others, right after you get home, there's so much chaos and kids and dogs and things going on that that's the worst time to reconnect. And you might have to set an intentional time, like during dinner, not sitting in front of the TV, trying to have an intentional dinner at a table to reconnect and share with each other a couple of things that went on throughout your day. Or setting a time like 7 p.m. Let's take 10 minutes and just turn everything off, have the world feel silent except for our voices for 10 minutes. Or that might be after the kids go to bed, but really trying to create some new habits, taking that time to carve out just a few minutes each day and add some small habits, some touch points throughout the day. It could be reminding yourself to send one text that doesn't have any utility to it. It's not asking for something or reminding your significant other of something, but instead just a nicety, just something kind that you say to them once a day in a message. It can make such a difference. I want you to think about that, or maybe put it in the comments, some ideas that you've already found really helpful or that you're thinking about trying for those little habits. I think this can be such a great way to work together as a team. So talking with your significant other about what do they want to see? How can we make this an intentional habit that we're going to add? And what would feel good, what wouldn't? Or try something for a week and then go, what'd you think? Did you like it? Or was it weird and awkward? Do you want to switch it up? So really collaborating and making these decisions together. And remember that habits are hard, they take time, and they do count, even if you have to remind yourself to do something nice or to say something nice, or remind yourself to hold hands. It sounds silly, but sometimes we need those until the habit is there, and you will feel so much growth, so much connection, and hopefully even a little extra spice coming back into your relationship when you've done this for a period of time. So give it a try. Next week, I'm going to talk about physical intimacy, so press the subscribe button if you want to get a notification when that one comes, and I'll see you next week.